Australia, the stars are out for the Australian film industry's glittering Night of Nights. From Sydney's Capitol Theatre, the dramatic climax to a year of magnificent achievement in Australian film.
Squizie starring David Atkins and Jackie Weaver. Take one.
Ladies and gentlemen, your host for this evening, Philip Adams.
Well, if there's one thing more energetic and expensive than that production number, and I say this with some envy, it's the Michael Edgley promotional machine. So much so that when they said the GG was here tonight, I was looking around for Phar Lap. But no, for in this remarkable old cinema, quarried by medieval stonemasons from huge blocks of violet crumble, we're honoured to welcome His Excellency Sir Ninian Stephen and Lady Stephen, heading a star-studded cast of distinguished guests. And in B25 and 26 there's 2 tax inspectors. Now, all of whom I'd like to welcome to the 82 Australian Film Awards on behalf of the Australian Film Institute and its funding body, the Australian Film Commission. Now, tonight's awards represent a year of unprecedented achievement for the industry, not the least of which is getting me up here looking like this. I bumped into Linda Stoner backstage and she dissolved into tears. The penguin suit reminded her of her beleaguered fur seals. 30 features, more, were entered for this year's awards, more than twice as many as last year, and I fear me, about twice as many as next year. And I've been asked to remind producers planning suicide that there will be no insurance payouts without a provisional certificate. That's the bad news. The good news is our nice new minister, Tom McVeigh, says that he's going to issue them much more efficiently. Now, Australian movies cover the entire spectrum of modern filmmaking, from the tender, introspective sensitivity of Mad Max 2 to the lusty, blood-drenched savagery of Lonely Hearts, from Jeff Burrows' Magnificent Man from Snowy River to Tony Gannane's Race for the Yankee Distributor. Sorry. I'm sorry, Zephyr. 30-odd films and lots of nominations, not like those lean years when one film won everything. Last year, poor Pat Lovell, she lost 7 pounds running from down there to up here. In fact, her Gallipoli gallops covered more distance than Mel Gibson's. Now, for all this activity, and I've been asked to stress this by Bob Ellis, we must thank our executive producer, the Prime Minister. Now, I never took Eric von Daniken seriously about all those, ancient astronauts until I discovered that the Prime Minister had lived on this planet before. My archaeological revelation, which is now a cartoonist commonplace, is that, of course, his effigies dot Easter Island. But more recently, at a film industry dinner, when he was our guest of honour, I was able to point to an eerie physical parallel, which I think accounts for his great warmth and support of our industry. And that is that he combines the physical stature of Chips Rafferty, the steely gaze of Mel Gibson, and the lower jaw of Barry McKenzie. Now, the awards you're about to see are the result of the toughest judging process known to person. The votes of industry professionals, and we all know how tough they can be. But gritting their gums, the AFI members in each area of the industry have voted for the award in their area. Directors for directors, actors for actors, and so on. Now, only minutes ago, the results of these secret ballots were delivered by the Australian Film Institute's auditors, Lowe, Littman, Figdor and Frank, or as they named their friends, Bob, Carol, Ted and Frank. And they kept the results under the deepest security, indeed, in a lead-lined, bomb-proof Führer bunker, guarded by a formidable combination of Kathleen Norris and 10 giant eunuchs. And the ABC would like to thank Mr. Kerry Packer for providing the eunuchs from his own personal staff. There were in fact only 9, but he got a volunteer. Now the results are all being put in their dear little white envelopes. Let battle commence. And to introduce them, or to open the first envelope rather, 1980s Best Actress, Tracy Mann, and intrepid Birdman from Mad Max, Bruce Spence.
I'm new to this sort of thing. Jackie, you take over.
Sure, Steve.
The nominees for the best performance by an actress in a supporting role are Myra de Groot for Norman Loves Rose.
He hasn't been eating well. And you look terrible. What is it? I go away for 3 days, I come home, everybody is sick. Norman, go get dressed, I want to talk to Rose. Well, any news? Tell me.
Not yet.
How is Michael?
Michael's Michael.
Thank God for that. The way my Morris looks, I wouldn't wish on my enemies.
How come you're back so soon?
Oh, I couldn't wait to get away quick enough. Oh, the things that animal said to me. 3 whole days I did nothing but cry. My poor sister deserves better. So tell me, is Norman good?
Very good.
Ah, a boy like Norman every woman should have.
Alice Garner for Monkey Grip.
Which one is it?
Oppression. When the water has flowed out below, the lake must dry up and become exhausted. That is fruit. One sits oppressed under a bare tree and strays into a gloomy valley. For 3 years one sees nothing.
Sounds horrible. What did you ask it?
I asked if we might be going to Manly tomorrow. Just us two, I mean.
What do you feel about Jabbo?
Well, I suppose it's because he's a junkie. That's why he's so strange and won't talk. You should just be nicer to him and leave him alone. That's what I reckon.
Sandy Gore for Norman Loves Rose.
And just where do you think you're going? Let's get one thing clear, Casanova. You only enter my bedroom if or when you're invited. And the way I'm feeling about you right now, I doubt very much whether that's likely to happen. So in the meantime, consider yourself as strictly a boarder and respect the house rules. Oh, and another thing. As of today, you take the kids to school and you bring them home. I consider I've done my fair share of parenthood while you were out proving your virility. Okay, she does.
And Chris McQuaid for Fighting Back.
You sure you won't stay for tea?
No, thank you.
He's been a bit better lately. It's funny, you know. I fight with him when he's here, and I miss him when he's not.
Was he... How did he behave in the home?
They're very hard there. He didn't talk for the first few weeks when I visited. He just cried. It was awful. He put on a terrible performance when they took him, but I couldn't stop it, you know?
And the winner is Chris McQuaid for Fighting Back.
And accepting the award on behalf of Chris McQuaid is Tom Jeffrey.
Thanks, Bruce. Chris, unfortunately, can't be here at this moment because she's doing a show up at the Stables Theatre in Sydney, and she asked me to take it on her behalf. My heavens above, it's terrific. I asked her, I said, look, in the event that you should win this, Chris, would you like me to say something? And she said that she appreciated the opportunity not to have to play a hooker. I know she will deeply appreciate this, and I would like to thank Michael Caulfield, also the director of the film Fighting Back. He did a wonderful job. And I'd like to say this, if I may, as producer with Sue Milliken, my wife, that without a boy called Tom, in inverted commas, and without a man called John Embling, this film wouldn't have been possible. And I thank them from the bottom of my heart, with Sue, for the opportunity to make this film. Look out for it next year.
The next award is for art direction, which is a fairly hard job to describe. It's something like this. The writer gives you wonderful lines. The director tries to tell you how to deliver them. The wardrobe designer puts you in a fabulous frock. The cinematographer places you in a perfectly positioned shot. And the art director asks you to move because you're standing in front of his wallpaper.
Right. The nominations for Best Achievement in Art Direction are Graham Walker for Mad Max 2, Logan Brewer for Squizie Taylor, Brian Thompson for Starstruck, David Copping for The Return of Captain Invincible.
And the winner is Graham Walker for Mad Max 2.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, judges. It takes a lot to get a picture looking good. I think this award really just shouldn't go to an art director, but to the fantastic bunch of people that work with him. And if this thing could have pups, I just wish that they could all have one. Thanks to all my crew. Thank you.
For a shift change. So we're going to hand you over to a couple who aren't only immensely talented, they're both the same height.
The stars of Squizie Taylor, Jackie Weaver and David Atkin.
Before we start, we'd just like to say how we owe being here this evening to a legendary Melbourne larrikin of yesteryear.
Philip Adams, thank you for having us.
The next category is costume design, and we actually have some of the nominated costumes here this evening.
The nominations for the best achievement in costume design are Norman Morrisseau for Mad Max 2, Luciana O'Rigi and Terry Ryan for Starstruck, Aphrodite Kondos for the pirate movie. Camilla Roundtree for We of the Never Never.
And the winner is Norma Morrisseau for Mad Max 2.
And accepting the award on behalf of Norma Morrisseau is Sally Campbell.
Norma's a wonderful talent. I'm thrilled to collect it for her.
The nominations for Best Achievement in Editing are John Scott for Heatwave, George Miller, David Stiven, Tim Welburn, Michael Bolson, Chris Plowright for Mad Max 2. David Huggett for Monkey Grip. And Max Lemon for Next of Kin.
And the winners are David Stiven, Tim Welburn, Michael Bolson, Chris Plowright, and George Miller for Mad Max.
I think we'd all just like to say thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.
George, Byron, Terry, wherever you are, it was great.
There were a couple of editors we saw out there who weren't working on Mad Max 2, but we had them surrounded, so we beat them, I think.
Thank you very much.
The snake! Put it down! Gently. Nice. Now the iron. Again. Down. Turn around.
The nominations for Best Screenplay are Paul Cox and John Clark for Lonely Hearts, Bob Ellis and Denny Lawrence for Goodbye Paradise, Jan Sardi for Moving Out, and Peter Schreck for We Are the Never Never.
And the winners are Bob Ellis and Denny Lawrence for Goodbye Paradise.
With profound thanks to Carl and Jane and Bosie and George and the late Raymond Chandler and the great Johnny Seal and the immortal Seedbutt Airwart and the gargantuan Paul Chubb and the Levantine Marinos and Robin Nevin, who is without peer, and a special and eternal and grovelling thanks to the New South Wales Film Corporation and indirectly Neville Wran Esquire for patronage beyond the call of even common sense. I would mostly like to thank the film's twin auteurs, Denny Lawrence and Ray Barrett. I'm also empowered to heap curses on the AFI for having compressed under one full category the contrary disciplines of screen adaptation and screen origination, and having to boot abolished the jury prize, which on these nights is fundamental for simple justice. I have to add, it's good to win in a Williamson, Noyce and Elphick year without the benefit of their valuable advice. I thank you.
One of the questions I've been asked a lot lately is, what's it like working with Bob Ellis? One of the answers I give is not dull. I'd also like to add to that tonight and say that it's been very rewarding. I've learned a lot and I've enjoyed it tremendously. Thank you, Bob. It really wouldn't have been the same without you. I'd also like to thank the New South Wales Film Corporation, everybody connected with the film, especially Jane and Carl, and of course Ray Barrett. The film wouldn't be the same without Ray. And I'd like to thank Anne Brooksbank and Karen and the people of the real New Eden who put up with us while we were writing it. Thank you.
She was really in love with Bobby Kennedy. And then one night, he didn't call. So she killed herself. She needed to be loved so much. There's lots of ways of killing yourself.
What flavoured milkshake was right?
I'd like to make love now. Take me somewhere old-fashioned, romantic, and we'll make love. I'm an old-fashioned girl, you know.
Have you got everything you need?
It's all right. I'm sterile.
And we find the wisest thing go Test and slap, our test and sing Oh, when threatened by the brutes And your rafters in your boots There's nothing brings it brow. Let the trumpets marshal sound. Let the trumpets marshal sound.
Contemporary culture, North American. I straighten more piratical erections than Bo Derek, and I'm into West, and all the rest have undergone analysis. I've gone beyond decrepitude to permanent paralysis. My music into music with my credit on the trouble. From R&B to S and cross over C and W. To grooving with the doobies and my Malibu wax soul and toes. Man, I'm older than the Beatles, but I'm younger than the Rolling Stones. My military knowledge, for I'm plucky and adventurous, embraces fashion Star Wars from the 22nd century. Yes, sir, in man is vegetable, animal, and mineral. I am the very model of a modern Major General. Oh, he's the very model of a modern Major General.
The Australian Film Institute was founded in Melbourne in 1958 to promote awareness of film as an art form, and the annual Film Awards are its most visible program. The Institute also seeks to create an environment of film knowledge, debate and research that is as essential as production itself. In all our capital cities, the AFI presents the best of world cinema. Programs range from silent classics through new Australian productions to foreign films and retrospectives. The Institute provides festivals to major events such as the Commonwealth Film Festival, held in association with the Games, which brought new films and filmmakers from 18 Commonwealth countries to Australia. The AFI has a distribution library of more than 800 films, a primarily Australian collection of shorts, documentaries, experimental films and features. The AFI has the most comprehensive centre of film information in Australia, servicing filmmakers, film scholars, students, television stations and film festivals. The AFI is now active in publications. Apart from the monthly newsletter, servicing over 3,500 AFI members throughout Australia, recent books have included a comprehensive history of our filmmaking since 1900. It is the only organisation in Australia which brings together all elements of the film process and provides service to all levels, reaching out to filmmakers, film educators, film students and film lovers. The AFI seeks to develop and maintain the infrastructure essential to a film culture and a film industry.
Because Australian content is such a contentious issue in our industry, Professor Kramer has asked me to stress that the crew on tonight's show are all Australian. Well, most of them. Well, some of them. Okay, one of them's Australian. Well, he will be when he gets naturalised. And we've got that organised for the same ceremony as Fred Squizie, Igor Ozens, Henry Safran and Joe Skrinsky. As well as honouring achievements in feature films, the AFI nominates a special jury to recognise outstanding achievements in the non-feature categories. Now, these awards carry a very generous prize of $1,000 from Kodak Australia, or a roll of film and 2 sets of prints. The jury awards were actually presented earlier today, but I'd like to mention each of the films so that we can join together in congratulating those involved. First of all, Best Documentary. It concerns the experiences of the people of Papua New Guinea during World War II and uses archival material from various sources, Japanese, American and Australian, and brilliantly blends it with new footage. The film, Angels of War.
The people made up songs. I left my house to go to war
I was thinking of my loving wife. I'm leaving you for some years, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to come back again. Some old masters did not trust us with the guns. Once the boy was trained and had a machine gun in his hands, he was no longer a boy.
Congratulations to the collaborators Andrew Pike, Hank Nelson and Gavin Dawes. Culture, of course, has its counterculture, and the commercial cinema has its alternative cinema. From the ranks of experimental filmmakers, names like Weir and Beresford have emerged, but others prefer to stay loyal to the non-commercial world and the ethos of the filmmakers' co-ops. The winner of the Best Experimental Film, from a company calling itself Rabid Films, is a tragicomedy concerning domestic interrelationships. Its name is The Bridge.
They say that being a mercenary is the last surviving profession of the pure romantic.
They had run off together when he promised the girl she would be treated like a princess in the Arabian Nights. He said, "I would live on a carpet of roses," said the girl. But from the first day, she was kept prisoner in the flat. She said she put broken wine bottle pieces in his breakfast of Skippy cornflakes in the hope it would make him ill enough to be sent to hospital so she could have a rest from him.
We've just had a message from Kellogg's. They'll also throw an award in to auteur Mark Foster. With Eric Porter, Alex Stitt and others, animation is making a major contribution to our industry. Now, this year's award for the best animation goes to a film which the central character appears to be a hybrid of a letterbox that thinks it's Ned Kelly. The story is about violence in the neighbourhood, and it's called Flank Breeder. The producer, director, writer and cinematographer of Flank Breeder calls himself simply Curry. Now, the best short fiction film is, according to its producers, set in the, quote, cockroach belt of crumbling terraces as two people play out the last difficult weeks of a lopsided 3-year relationship. The film, A Most Attractive Man.
Bastard fool, you broke my hand.
All right, don't make such a fuss.
Mongrel!
The boy said yes.
Bloody me! How did it happen? I jammed it in a door.
No, I jammed it in a door.
I did.
Why did you do that? What? You know, why did you try to protect me?
I'm trying to protect a big stud like you.
Listen, you do it all the time, and I know why. I don't want to hear you say it.
I don't know.
You do?
I don't.
Say it.
There's nothing to say.
Say it.
Gas bill.
Congratulations to producer Gillian Coote. Now, there's a special cinematography award to a film called Greetings from Wollongong.
So you reckon there's plenty of work in Darwin?
Yeah.
What, now?
And congratulations to Lewis Irving. Now, the AFI have also awarded a jury prize to the film they agree represents the most significant non-feature achievement of the year. And the winner, well, that's Butte, because here's a film I saw grow and develop. It's a small, simple, stark film which makes an anti-war statement as powerful as, I think, as Gallipoli. It tells the story of a man who was so traumatised by his experiences in the Second World War that he relives them every night of his life. And the film was made with, this man's obsession was made with the special sensitivity we've come to expect from one of Melbourne's real battler filmmakers. He's a lecturer at Swinburne, he's an old mate of mine, and it's Peter Tammer for Journey to the End of Night. Peter, with this goes an award of $5,000 from the Film Commission. Congratulations.
Thanks, Greg. Well, it's an incredible honour, and I'd like to thank you for having helped me get the film finished by recommending it to the Victorian Film Corporation, now called Film Victoria. I'd also like to thank Film Victoria for taking a punt on such a personal film, which was quite a long process in the making. And the other people that I'd like to thank are Bill and Connie Neve. Bill Neve, who is the central character in the film, his experience as being perhaps the most astounding that I've ever come into contact with in my life. And I'd like to thank him for his courage and his honesty in being able to put himself and his story and his life on the line as he did with my film. Thank you, Bill.
Be careful though, by Jesus, it could be anybody lying there, it could be awake. God bloody mighty, look at it. For Christ's sake, look at this. Oh, the poor bastard, look, he's got his bloody throat cut. I wonder who he is. Poor bugger, look, no doubt they're bastards, look at them, look, they cut his throat, it'd been better to have shot him. His poor little kid, look at the photo of his kids, look here, look. That'd be his wife and his 3 kids. They went through everything and just left him there with his throat cut. He must have been getting away and they caught him. It's a bloody example, they're setting a bloody example. We know what's going to happen to us now if they catch us. Jesus, isn't it bloody awful? Didn't it make you feel awful to see it? I can't look at it much longer. No, I know you can't do, never mind. Well, we know now what to do. Keep well in the bloody jungle and don't get anywhere near the bloody open at all. They won't come in the jungle, I don't think.
I'd now like to introduce a woman who comes from a family that's so prodigiously talented that they make the Fondas and the Redgraves look positively lacklustre. I refer to Kathleen Norris, who comes to us from New York to run the Australian Film Institute, bringing with her husband Patrick to run the Australian Opera. But let that not overshadow the contribution of their son Terry, who was so great in Cop Shop. Now, as you know, Terry has now joined with Bill Hayden and Jim Cairns. He's left the force so he can run Australia. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Executive Director of the AFI, Patrick's wife and Terry's mum, Kathleen Norris.
High praise indeed from a member of the Addams family. He's got his skivvy on under that shirt. This has been a banner year for Australian filmmaking. In addition to more than 30 feature films, dozens of shorter works and documentaries were produced. This reflects a greater diversity, talent, and growth than ever before. It's my job tonight to salute some of the behind-the-scenes forces that have helped make that growth possible and have supported the Film Awards and the work of the Australian Film Institute. First and foremost is the Commonwealth Government, which promotes the development of a film culture and film industry in many ways. Prominent among these is the excellent work of the Australian Film Commission. I'm also proud to say that the AFI has support from all state governments. I would particularly like to acknowledge assistance for the awards from the New South Wales Film Corporation, Film Victoria, the Queensland Film Corporation, and the South Australian Department of the Arts. I'd also like to thank Richard Watts and my staff at the AFI, as well as Michael Shrimpton and Jackie Cullerton of the ABC, without whom none of this would have happened tonight. Films not only stimulate the economy and provide jobs, but they give us a better sense of ourselves and make our Australian experience compellingly real for the rest of the world. To show you what I mean, I'd like to give you a glimpse of every one of the 30 feature films entered for tonight's awards. Our gratitude also to a real partner to the film industry, Kodak, for their continuing support of the jury awards. We recently passed another milestone. The Man from Snowy River is now the most successful film ever shown in Australia. It's been seen by more people than such well-known foreign films as Jaws and Star Wars. Every year, the Australian Film Institute gives a very special recognition to a very special person in the movie industry. Here to tell you more about the Raymond Longford Award is the chairman of the AFI, Senator David Hamer.
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the AFI, welcome to the 1982 Film Awards. From time to time, the AFI recognises a major contribution to Australian filmmaking. The award commemorates the pioneer Australian filmmaker Raymond Longford, whose career mirrored the fortunes of the early Australian film industry, prolific success in the silent era and collapse in the 1930s. Longford himself died in 1959 in frustration and bitterness. The previous winners of the Longford Award are a roll of the outstanding figures in Australian filmmaking, particularly those who kept the industry alive in the dark years of the 1930s to the 60s. and who helped to make possible its spectacular revival in the 70s. Last year's winner was Philip Adams. I hasten to say that winning the award does not automatically entitle the winner to be the compere next year, even if he is prepared to wear a dinner jacket. That is a separate honour. The Australian film industry at the moment is yet again going through one of its boom or bust cycles, with 33 feature films made last year, possibly not more than 6 or 8 in the coming year. It is urgently necessary that we reorganise our tax incentives for filmmakers to ensure a steady output of carefully made quality films and to discourage tax avoidance quickies and the diversion of investments which might be made in Australian films to foreign films that do nothing for Australia. This is an urgent task, and I hope the Treasurer is listening. If not, I'll tell him. It's a mark of the standing of the Australian film industry and of the long for the award. I'm able to call on His Excellency the Governor-General of Australia, Sir Ninian Stephen, to present the 1982 Longford Award.
Although I get this script from the Royal Australian Navy, you may believe me when I say that Australian films have really made it on the world scene. My knowledge of this comes from an unlikely source, the New York Review of Books. One of the review's special joys is what might be, but is not called, its Lonely Hearts column. Classified ads in which would-be loved ones catalogue their physical and other charms and their interests ranging from chamber music and orienteering to world travel. Well, in a recent issue of the review, not one, but 2 American Lonely Hearts listed as high amongst their appealing qualities a passion for Australian film. Films are potent stuff. They unconsciously help us to shape our particular vision of what we think of as reality. And for far too long, for us in Australia, that vision was an essentially foreign one. Now all that's changed. We already have had, as part of our national identity, a whole array of Australian films which we can add to and blend with our memories of those from overseas. And year by year, that total grows. And this recent success of Australian films is splendid not only for all those involved, as most of you are tonight, in the making of those films, but for all Australians, because our films give us a new insight into what it is to be an Australian. The sheer volume of quality Australian films produced in the last 12 months is an extraordinary achievement. The 17 or 18, and accounts differ as at the moment, films which have received nominations, and others too, like that extraordinary success just mentioned, The Man from Snowy River. But this evening, we honour, we congratulate, and we thank everyone associated with the nominated films. And we also honour one who, over 5 decades of work in films, in cinema, shorts, television programs and commercials, has been a pioneer and a skilled practitioner in so many areas of film production, and whose name is synonymous with animated film in Australia. The countless film artists and technicians who've worked with him, and the audiences who've enjoyed his work, many of them not even knowing that it was his work, will share our pleasure in announcing that the 1982 Australian Film Institute's Raymond Longford Award goes to Mr. Eric Porter.
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, this is a complete surprise. I had no idea. My wife knew, apparently, I just find out, but but it's a very pleasant surprise, and as long as I live, I don't think I will ever receive a surprise as nice as this one. I have received this for my contribution to the industry. I owe a lot to a lot of people in the industry for giving me a hand along the way, including Ken Hall and many others who've helped me from the very beginning. But one person who really did help me at the beginning was a young fellow in America. When I was 16, saw a Mickey Mouse film and I said, "Oh, that's for me, I've got to do that." I tried to find out how it was done and nobody in Australia was doing it. So I went to the libraries and there was nothing there. I wrote to Walt Disney and Walt Disney sent me over the name of books, where to buy them and various things. I continued to write to Disney every time I had troubles, flaking celluloids and how he got transparent shadows. And all the way along the line, I'm very proud and happy to say that this wonderful man helped me, and it was with that we were able to bring animation into the country. I think that today there are about 1,000 people working in animation, and it's a wonderful and exciting trade. And if I have contributed anything to the industry in doing what I have done, I can assure you it was something that I've enjoyed doing very much, and I loved every minute of it. I'd do it all over again. I would never enjoy a weekend. I had to work and do it because I just loved doing the work, and I hope other people enjoy their work as much as I've done mine. Once again, I wish to thank everybody who helped me along the way and wish everybody very great success, and thank the AFI for all they've done for the industry. Thank you very much.
In the late 40s, Australia marvelled at its first cartoon commercials, and Eric Porter's magic made a humble jelly into a household name.
As the beans are ground, one can smell the rich aroma.
Through 4 decades, Eric Porter produced literally thousands of commercials.
And now they are skillfully blended to give that rich flavor.
And still found time, in an era when the Australian film industry was all but extinct, to produce a feature film.
David, you said you loved me. I don't understand. We're married, David.
I don't love you. Excitement, thrills, romance and drama. Everything that adds up to great entertainment. Featuring Ron Randall, Muriel Steinbeck, John McCallum, Jane Holland, Peter Finch, and Kitty Blewett.
When A Son is Born was released in the cinemas, chances are there was an Eric Porter Productions animated short on before it.
Oh no! Oh, the wheel!
Louis the Fly, I'm Louis the Fly, straight from rubbish tip to you, spreading the...
In the 60s, Eric Porter's family of unforgettable cartoon characters was still growing.
For an instant mirror sheen, to the surfaces you clean, wax and polish as you dust with Mr. Sheen.
And so was the diversity of his ideas and projects.
What's we going to do? What's we going to do?
my princess.
In 1972, Eric Porter produced Marco Polo versus the Red Dragon, Australia's first animated feature film. For this brilliant and pioneering work, the Australian Film Institute honoured him with the award for Best Achievement in Direction.
You were born to be a queen, while I was born to be mean. I enjoy.
Eric Porter, for over 50 years, a creative dynamo, hard-headed businessman, employer, advisor, friend, and film pioneer. From a kid in the front stalls with a dream to one of Australia's legendary men of the cinema. And now, to present the next awards, the star of Monkey Grip and the very model of a modern Major General, Noni Hazelhurst and Bill Kerr.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here with you, Bill.
Go ahead.
Thank you. The nominees for the best performance by an actor in a supporting role are David Argue for Going Down.
I was in my doctor's the other day, and I was sitting there, and I met this underground drug dealer that said he could get me a really good deal on half a bag of silicone. And, well, you know, like a stacker, I mean, I'm a fool, I believed him, I bought them, and, I mean, obviously I was ripped off.
Well, I've tried mouth to mouth, but it didn't work. So I think maybe if I had something like that... Please, 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 please.
Oh,
See, he's really in a bad way. He's really, look at him.
Hi.
He really does need help. Can you help me, do you think? He really is quite ill.
How you feel it, kids? Little Bryce, get him moving, eh?
John Bell for Far East.
What's this?
I was suggesting to Rosita that she might come to Australia. Talk to unions, church groups, universities. Have a good day?
Yes, I played cards.
Gary's just a glorified pimp, this friend of yours, don't you?
It's not like that.
Oh, you've been doing some research, have you? Today on the way to the country, I saw this slum being demolished to make way for a Japanese cannery. People were just standing there watching. It's a sick place, Joe. Why can't you see that?
Gary MacDonald for The Pirate Movie.
Tell me, Mabel, about these parrots.
Parrots?
Parrots!
Oh, the pirates! Well, they're on their way to the castle, led by the Pirate King.
This Parrot King, does he have a nurse?
A nurse? Yeah, Ruth.
I don't want to know its name. How fast does it run?
You want to know how fast a nurse runs?
A nurse! A nurse? What do you think this is, a parrot?
Parrot?
A parrot! But what's a cricket? Stupid girl. These are the parrots. They're nymphs.
Oh! Long John Silver, guy with the wooden leg. He wears a parrot on his shoulder. I mean, a parrot on his shoulder. Then there's Ruth, and she's a horse. I mean, a nurse. Look, why don't you just follow me to the fort, okay?
Fort?
And Warren Mitchell for Norman Loves Rose.
I remember my mother, my two sisters. My father. All I can see is a little man bending over a garment. I can never see his eyes. Maybe because he never looked up from his work.
How old were you when...
Same age as my Norman. He and I used to sing to himself in Yiddish. Little songs. Very quiet. I think he made them up.
And the winner is Warren Mitchell in Norman Loves Rosie.
And accepting the award on behalf of Warren Mitchell is Henri Safran.
Unfortunately, Warren Mitchell can't be with us. He's detained by immigration at London airport trying to enter without a visa. I'm sure he would like me to thank the membership of the AFI. He also would like me to thank the author for his talent. He would like me to thank the director for his patience and the producers for their understanding. And thank you very much.
The nominations for Best Achievement in Sound. Lloyd Carrick, Greg Bell and Peter Fenton for Heatwave. Roger Savage, Bruce Lamshed, Byron Kennedy, Lloyd Carrick, Mark Van Buren, Penn Robinson and Stuart Andrew for Mad Max 2. Jeff White, Martin Jeffs, Julian Ellingsworth and Grant Stewart for Moving Out. And Terry Rodman, Gary Wilkinson and Bob Litt for The Man from Snowy River.
And the winners are Roger Savage, Bruce Lamshed, Byron Kennedy, Mark Van Buren, Penn Robertson and Andrew Stewart for Mad Max 2.
Thank you very much. A lot of people said that Roger Savage and myself were not capable of mixing Mad Max 2. I think this proves that we were capable. Thank you very much.
And now the nominations for the Best Music Score. Brian May for Mad Max 2. Phil Judd, Bill Miller, Dennis James and Mark Moffat for Starstruck. Bruce Rowland for The Man from Snowy River. And Peter Best for We of the Never Never.
And the winner is Bruce Rowland for The Man from Snowy River.
you very much. I'm very honoured. I'd like to thank the AFI very, very much for this. It really does mean a great deal to me. Three people I want to thank particularly are the three people that I have at home. My wife, Maria, my son, Adam, my daughter, Kelly. It's very difficult when you're writing a movie score at home and without cooperation of your family. It's very, very difficult indeed. And lastly, the musicians. To every one of you who played on the score, thank you very, very, very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Kennedy.
And thanks to the Ross Coleman dancers. Ladies and gentlemen, to present the next awards, we've got Elizabeth Alexander and Jack Thompson.
Hasn't Jack changed?
I love a sunburned country.
Gary, I want to know, the question on everyone's lips is,
Right.
will there be a sequel to the pirate movie?
No.
No?
No, 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 no. Well, I don't know. There could be.
Well, I mean, it's very difficult to make sequels. I mean, can you imagine a sequel to The Journalist? Heaven's Gate? The Nugan Bank commercial?
You know, like everyone else, I was a little bit worried about whether the pirate movie truly was an Australian film until I went to the preview, and when the 20th Century Fox logo came up, only one spotlight was operating. And there was a voiceover by Neville Rand promising that he'd have the other one working by next winter. The nominations for Best Achievement in Cinematography. David Gribble for Monkey Grip. Gary Hansen for We of the Never Never. Dean Semler for Mad Max 2. And Keith Wagstaff for The Man from Snowy River.
I just want to know what's going on. I mean, last week we were all buddies, and now
Maybe that was the problem. And the winner is Gary Hansen for We of the Never.
And accepting the award on behalf of Gary Hansen is Mitch Matthews.
I suppose I should explain, for the benefit of the folk at home who are not in the film industry, that Gary Hansen was the cinematographer who was killed in a helicopter crash while filming at Adaminaby 11 weeks ago, along with his very dear friends and colleagues, director Alistair MacDonald, and his camera assistant from Tasmania, John Jasikovich. I guess the only consolation is that they all died doing the thing that they loved most doing, and that is making films. I guess Gaz's first acknowledgement would be to his pop, Arthur Hansen, who taught him at a very early age, while he was still at school in fact, how to be a cinematographer. Actually, Pop's got the same kind of stamina as Gaz, because Pop flew in from America this morning and I don't think he's had much sleep for a couple of days. Still jetting. I would like to thank, actually on Gaz's behalf, all the people, and there were many, many people in the industry that worked alongside Gaz with the same energy and devotion to the work, and for supporting Gaz. I hesitate in singling out anybody, but if you will allow me just to mention two, both of them are both overseas at the minute. And one is Gaz's dearly beloved gaffer, Mickey Morris, without whom, he told me many times, he could never have operated and lit at the same time, which is something Gaz dearly loved to do. And the other one is Jan Kenny, who shot second unit on We of the Never Never, and Gaz was so proud of Jan and delighted that she'd been able to emulate his style so well that it's almost impossible to pick a Hansen shot from a Kenny shot in We of the Never Never. I'm sorry, Auntie ABC, I might take just a little bit more than a minute, but there have been some that have only taken a couple of seconds. I just want to also say that Gaz, apart from his great love of the film industry, he also had an enormous love of Australia. And I think this shows in We of the Never Never. Whenever he came home from overseas, and that was many, many times, he would always be so overjoyed to drive through his beloved Sydney, and he couldn't wait to get out into the bush and to smell it and to feel it and to photograph it. And I think for anyone who's seen his book, Impressions of a Continent, you will be able to understand the pride and the feeling he had for his country. And I really think that Gaz is an Australian that we can be proud of. Just one little thing, he would be terribly proud if he were here tonight, because he's always wanted one of these, probably as a token of his contribution to the industry. Hopefully we've made enough noise tonight, or we may still do so that he can hear us. Thank you.
È con grande soddisfazione che come Presidente della Confindustria e come armatore posso annunciare che il decollo dell'economia greca non è più una vana speranza, ma una meta concreta, il cui raggiungimento in tempi brevi è possibile per l'azione decisa e coraggiosa del governo. In un paese che vede la concordia di tutti i ceti sociali, l'unità delle forze produttive, delle forze armate e il contributo attivo e partecipe dei singoli, dal primo al più umile dei cittadini, il referendum per l'approvazione della nuova Costituzione, garante delle libertà civili, sarà il suggello della rinata nazione.
Ed ora le più alte autorità militari dello Stato, le forze dell'economia e della finanza, vengono a rendere omaggio al primo ministro. Si notano il petroliere Pappas, appena tornato dagli Stati Uniti, dove ha conferito con Spiro Agnew, candidato alla vicepresidenza USA. Stavros Livanos, la cui flotta è aumentata di 10 nuove unità. Aristotele Onassis. Le nozze di Onassis con la vedova Kennedy sono ormai date per certe. Stavros Niarchos, che ha appena concluso un importante accordo con il governo. Il capo delle forze armate, generale Angelis. L'arcivescovo di Atene e di tutta la Grecia, Hieronymus. L'armatore e banchiere Andreadis.
Yorgos Avramis, impiegato. Yorgo Lefteriadis, autista di taxi. Mikhail Papoulas, meccanico. Ioannis Valsedis, impiegato. Artemios Konitsakis, medico. Antonio Princentis, impiegato. Vassilis Anastassopoulos, impiegato. Nicola Zambellis, autista di taxi. Ioannis Konitsakis, ingegnere civile. Evstatios Iotas, impiegato. Yorgas Sarantis, impiegato. Alessandro Panagoulis, soldato.
Io non sono un soldato!
Come?
Io non appartengo più a questo esercito, perché è quello che ha tradito la Grecia!
Imputato Panagoulis, silenzio! O dovrò prendere provvedimenti.
Chiedo formalmente la nullità di questo processo!
Silenzio!
Poiché non sono mai stato informato dei termini legali dell'accusa, chiedo che questo processo venga annullato.
Si rivolga al suo avvocato.
Faccio presente alla Corte che ho potuto comunicare con l'imputato Panagoulis una sola volta, e solo alla presenza di membri della polizia militare.
Va bene, avvocato, va bene. Noi siamo tutti qui per sapere, per informare e per essere informati. Questo è un processo pubblico e non mancherà di sostenere gli interessi di tutti nell'interesse superiore della giustizia e della patria. Sia data lettura dell'atto d'accusa.
Signor Presidente, protesto. Prima di tutto perché i pochi testimoni ammessi a favore dell'imputato sono stati intimoriti e minacciati. Poi sono 82 giorni che Panagoulis vive giorno e notte con le manette ai polsi senza che gli siano levate neppure per un istante. È in uno stato di estrema prostrazione fisica. Non è in grado di seguire il processo.
Opposizione! Mi oppongo a qualsiasi rinvio. Li Apistu qui rappresenti soltanto i miei torturatori.
Calmati,
E voi agite come fantocci in mano alla giunta.
Chiedo l'incriminazione dell'imputato per oltraggio alla Corte e alle autorità dello Stato.
Sei soltanto un servo.
Alekos, no così.
Panagoulis, noi giudicheremo sulla base dei fatti. Non temere, giustizia ti sarà resa.
Ma quale giustizia? Questa Corte rappresenta i miei carnefici, non ha alcun diritto di giudicarmi.
Ci riserviamo di decidere sulla richiesta del procuratore del re. La seduta è sospesa.
Giuro di dire la verità, nient'altro che la verità.
Tu non hai diritto di testimoniare. Tu sei un torturatore. Nelle torture sessuali ti sei rivelato un vero specialista, Mallios.
L'imputato mente, secondo il metodo dei comunisti.
Avanti il primo test. Mancavi solo tu, Babali. Perché non spieghi a tutti come funziona la falanga, eh? Imputato Panagoulis, silenzio! Silenzio!
Giuro di dire la verità, tutta la verità, nient'altro che la verità.
Sì, da Cipro. Ha ottenuto un'enorme quantità di esplosivo e un passaporto falso.
Quante volte lei si è recato all'ambasciata di Cipro?
Due volte.
E cosa è andata a